2023 district meeting. I'm Angel McCliggett, and I'm the Employee and Member Engagement Manager at Homeworks. I'm here to serve as your moderator for tonight's virtual event. Before we begin, let's quickly cover our meeting protocol so you know how to participate this evening. You can interact with us during tonight's meeting by using the simple buttons that pop up on your Zoom webinar screen. The first button is Raise Hand. You'll use this button anytime you'd like to make a motion or second a motion tonight. Next up is the chat button. You can type in the chat box if you'd like to make a comment, nominate yourself or another member for a position, or bring up any matters of business this evening. The Q&A button is to be used if you have a question that you'd like to pose to our CEO. Clicking on this button will bring up a box that allows you to type your question, which we will pass on to Mr. O'Neill for the Q&A session at the end of tonight's event. Our communications manager will be monitoring your comments and questions throughout the meeting, and we will be sure to follow up with you afterwards if any of your questions are unable to be answered during the live event. Back to voting. Anytime a motion has been made and seconded this evening, your voting options will pop up directly on your screen for you. Simply click on the button representing the way you would like to vote, and as the votes come in, the polling numbers will show up right there on the screen so everyone can see the results in real time. Moving on, do you have your bingo card ready for tonight? We hope you'll join in the fun during the meeting by listening for keywords and topics and checking off any that you hear us discuss tonight. If you get a vertical, horizontal, or diagonal bingo, write the account holder's name and homework service address on the card and return it to us via mail or email by May 29. Everyone who turns in a winning bingo card will be placed in a raffle for one of our 3 exciting grand prizes. I also want to remind you that if you'd like, you can follow along with some of the topics we discussed this evening in your digital district meeting booklet, which you should have received by email this afternoon. This helpful booklet can also be accessed at homeworks.org/D5 booklet. And finally, as always, be sure to stay logged on until the end of this meeting so you don't miss out on the prize drawings that you were automatically entered in just by attending tonight. We have a lot of great items that we're excited to give away, but you must be present to win, so stay with us. All right, now that you've got the basics down, it's time to get started. Here to officially kick off tonight's meeting is your District 5 Interim Director, Teresa Sopsey.
Welcome, District 5. I'm Teresa Sopsey, and I am honored to have been entrusted to represent our district on the Homeworks Tri-County Electric Board of Directors since February, when I was appointed as your interim director. As you may know, I am running in our district's director election to fill the seat for the remainder of the current 3-year term. And I appreciate all of you who took the time to cast a vote. Helping to guide the direction of our great cooperative is a responsibility that I take very seriously. And I'm so happy to be here with you tonight to update you on the exciting things that have been taking place at Homeworks over the past year. Homeworks has been hosting these district meetings for decades, and it's such an effective way to stay engaged with a co-op we all own. One of the many things that set cooperatives apart from other utilities is that every member has a voice and a vote. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to participate in the democratic process of your cooperative. Did you know our district includes over 1,000 members residing or receiving service in Gratiot and Saginaw counties and parts of Clinton and Montcalm counties? My husband Steve and I are proud to have been Homeworks members in Bannister for 27 years now. Homeworks sure has come a long way in those 27 years, and the co-op has come even farther in the 86 years since it was founded by farmers in Eaton, Ingham, and Jackson counties to bring electricity to their unserved rural areas. As you know, we are repeating that history today by bringing reliable high-speed fiber internet to rural areas of mid-Michigan that other providers have often refused to serve. CEO Chris O'Neill will tell you all about that and several other exciting co-op projects a bit later. But first, we have some co-op business to conduct tonight. In addition to electing your board representative every 3 years, as you did this year, you also elect district officers each May. They include our district chair, Robert Pierluski from St. John's, who will conduct our brief business meeting in just a few minutes. Our district vice chair is Becca Wetzel from Elsie, and our secretary is Dan Harold from St. John's. Thank you, Robert, Becca, and Dan, for your service to our district. Again, I am thrilled to be here with you tonight, and I'm so happy to have so many of our District 5 members engaging with the co-op in this format. I've said it before, but having informed member owners really does make HomeWorks a stronger cooperative. I want to close by thanking you again for allowing me the honor of serving as your district director. Now, please welcome our CEO, Chris O'Neill.
Thank you, Director Sopsey. District 5 members, welcome to your 2023 live-streamed virtual district meeting. I'm Chris O'Neill. Many of you know me as I've served in several different capacities on the HomeWorks team over 20 years. I took over as your CEO in 2020, and I want to echo Director Sopsey in saying that it is my great privilege and honor to serve you. I'm so happy to have you here with us tonight. The democratic process is one of the founding principles that sets co-ops apart from other types of utilities, and HomeWorks depends on members like you who are willing to be involved, informed, and engaged. Plus, I'm very excited to update you on the things that have been happening at HomeWorks over the past year. I think you're really going to enjoy the informative co-op update that we put together for tonight's meeting. We'll hit on several timely and important topics after our brief business meeting this evening. First, though, I want to quickly highlight another thing that sets co-ops apart, which is our community outreach. We try to do all that we can to make a positive impact for the people who live within our service footprint, especially those who are in need. One of the most important ways we try to fulfill that goal here at HomeWorks is through our Tri-County People Fund. Our People Fund has granted over $2.6 million to families and organizations throughout our service territory since 1993. Recent People Fund grants supporting your neighbors in need in this area include a $5,000 contribution to the LC Lions Club to build a wheelchair ramp. Our People Fund is made possible by those of you who voluntarily round up your monthly electric bill to the nearest dollar as part of Operation Roundup, and we want to sincerely thank you. Our People Fund board of 7 volunteers, one from each one of our districts, works very hard to make sure each grant request is considered with care. Here in District 5, your People Fund Director is Kevin Sopsey. We certainly thank Kevin and his fellow board members for all the time and compassion they put into this worthy cause. In addition to the People Fund, we have a couple other community programs that help to make a big difference locally as well. This year, we gave out a total of $20,000 in Touchstone Energy Classroom Technology grants to several local classrooms to support innovative projects that help students learn. We also awarded $1,000 Touchstone Energy College scholarships to 12 very deserving high school students whose households are served by our electric lines to help them further their education. We love any opportunity to support our local students and teachers. Recently, with the help of a matching grant program offered by one of our lenders, CoBank, we were able to donate $10,000 apiece to the LC Baby Pantry right here in District 5 and I Am Kids Third Meal in Fenwick to help them make a big impact for children and families in our service area. We try to support local families and organizations as often as we can because as a co-op, we're committed to enhancing the quality of life in the communities that we serve. And there's a reason for that. We don't answer to some faraway investors. Our directors and employees all live right here in your neighborhoods. In fact, myself and many of our employees are HomeWorks members. Like you, we are truly invested in rural mid-Michigan. You might remember that last year we told you about a new employee volunteer program we started to give our employees the opportunity to engage with the communities and help make a difference for their neighbors. True to form, our employees have embraced that program and helped it grow exponentially in the past year. We thought you might enjoy seeing a glimpse of how they're making a difference throughout our service area, so we put together a quick video highlighting some of our volunteers.
Our community outreach program was implemented as a way for our HomeWorks employees to engage within our local communities through volunteer work.
The program is important for the company to implement because it does recognize the individual employees for the time that they give to their communities. It also lets the communities know what we're doing for them. As a cooperative and member-owned, that's important for them to understand what our role is here.
So I volunteer within the Homeworks blood drives. I've also went to the Portland Middle School and taught them a little bit about Homeworks and what we do and how they can get involved within our cooperative. I've also been to a couple career fairs doing the same.
Yeah, I grew up in Portland, went through the volleyball program all through high school, and I saw people helping out when I was a player, so I thought maybe when I get older, I'll do that too.
We also were able to donate to St. Jude's over $5,000, and to be able to write that check to them and send that to them, it meant a lot.
So many individuals or organizations need help. You see the need and you see how appreciative they are of you helping, and it can't help but make you feel good.
So part of the cooperative principles is concern and care for community, and we recognized that we had a whole slew of employees that were out volunteering, giving their time, money, whatever they could in their local communities. So we thought it was time for us to start recognizing it.
Each month, our employees submit a Google form with how many volunteer hours that they have done that month. And then with our Touchstone Energy funds, we have purchased little rewards. So, for example, when they reach 5 hours, they get a little koozie cup as an incentive, as a thank you for volunteering within our community.
Homeworks is such a great organization that is so diverse in helping people, individuals, schools, nonprofits. They make it so easy for us to do that. It makes you feel good about working for Homeworks Tri-County.
The Homeworks board, staff, and you, our members, truly do care for the communities that we serve, and I think that comes through in everything that we do. Thank you for embodying the cooperative spirit and for helping us make a difference year in and year out. Another way we embrace the cooperative spirit is through our legislative advocacy on your behalf. We've hosted several of our Michigan state senators and representatives at our facilities over the past year, and I have visited with many others in Lansing to foster relationships and advocate for rural co-op members. Advocacy regarding issues affecting rural America and our local communities, including broadband access, electric reliability, power supply, easements, and more, is an important aspect of being an electric co-op, and you can be sure that we will always maintain our commitment to using our voice to speak for you. All right, just one more quick update before we start your business meeting. You have told us that you overwhelmingly prefer the virtual format for district meetings, and we're happy to oblige that with these webinars. We still want to have an opportunity to engage with you in person though, so we've developed a new event called Homeworks Park Parties, which will kick off this summer. This will be a fun, informal, open house style event where you can drop by with a family, enjoy some ice cream on us, and talk to our staff directly about any co-op questions you may have. Your park party will take place the afternoon of August 10th at Mott's Park in St. John's. We'll send an invitation and more details in the mail as the event nears. We hope you'll be able to join us. Your annual meeting will also be back in person this year, taking place Saturday, August 19 at the Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort in Mount Pleasant. If you've opted to serve as an annual meeting delegate when you registered for this meeting, you will receive more information on that in the mail in the coming months as the meeting date gets closer. All right, I'll be back with a brief pre-recorded operations update for you in a few minutes. First, you need to conduct your annual business meeting. Your chair, Bob Pirolowski, will now come up to conduct this portion of tonight's meeting. Good evening, Bob.
Good evening. Thank you, Chris. I am Bob Pirolowski and took over as our district chair last year. Homeworks Executive Assistant Michelle Hune informed me that we have a quorum with 59 member households in attendance tonight. Thank you for the time to log in. Let's start our business meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll now have our secretary, Dan Harold, take care of our next agenda item.
Thank you, Bob. The notice of the meeting, proof of mailing, and the 2022 minutes are on the pages 4 and 5 of your district meeting booklet. I'm going to make a motion that we dispense with the reading of these and accept them as presented. Bob.
Thank you. Dan, can I have a second? Okay, our moderator tells me we have a motion and a second, accepted the notice of meeting, the proof of mailing, and the minutes from our last meeting as presented. Please vote on this motion using your polling on your screen now. Thank you. Motion carried. When you registered to attend this meeting, you were asked if you wanted to be invited as a delegate to the HomeWorks annual meeting in August. Those of us who are signed up to serve as 2023 annual meeting delegates are listed on page 7 of your district meeting booklet. I move that we dispense with the reading of the delegates and accept as listed, presented. Can I get a second? It has been moved and seconded to approve the delegates as presented. Please vote on using the functions on your screen. Motion carried. If there is anyone here tonight who is not already on the list but interested in being invited as a delegate to the annual meeting this year, please contact HomeWorks Executive Assistant Michelle Hune at the email address or the phone number on the screen now. Mr. O'Neill, please come forward for the election of district officers.
Thank you, Bob. First, let me remind you what your volunteer district officers do for your cooperative. The chair runs the annual membership meeting, as Bob is doing here tonight. The vice chair steps in if the chair is not available. The secretary reads the notice of mailing and calls for approval of the minutes from the previous year's meeting, as Dan did this evening. Every 3 years, the officers also serve as the nominating committee when your district's board seat comes up for election. That was their job this year. Your district chair is Bob Pierlowski. Bob has indicated he is willing to serve another term in this position. If elected, is there a nomination to nominate Bob Pierlowski? We have a motion. Is there a second? It has been moved and seconded to nominate Bob. Are there any other nominations from the floor? If not, let's vote on the chair position using the polling buttons on your screen now. Bob Pierlowski has been re-elected to your district chair. Your district vice chair is Becca Wetzel. Becca has indicated that she would agree to serve as district vice chair again. Is there a motion to nominate Becca Wetzel? We have a motion. Is there a second? There is a motion and second to nominate Becca Wetzel. Are there any other nominations from the floor? If not, let's vote for your vice chair position now, please. The motion has carried and Becca has been re-elected as vice chair. Your district secretary is Dan Harold. Dan has indicated that he would agree to serve as district secretary again. Is there a motion to nominate Dan? We have a motion. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. Are there any other nominations from the floor for district secretary? If not, let's put your secretary position to vote. Please use the polling buttons on the screen and place your vote now. The motion is carried and Dan Harold has been re-elected as your district secretary. Congratulations and thanks to all. Now, I'll turn it back over to Bob.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill. Is there any other business to come before this district? If not, we accept a motion to adjourn. We have a motion. Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Please vote. The polling functions on your screen now. Thank you. Motion carried. We are adjourned. Now I'll hand over to our corporate counsel, Dan Templin, for your election report. Welcome, Dan.
Good evening, Bob. Thank you. As chair of District 5, Bob also served on the district nominating committee this year, along with Vice Chair Becca Wetzel and Secretary Dan Harold. This year, we introduced a convenient new electronic voting option to go along with our traditional mail-in ballot. To begin the election process, a notice was published in the January issue of Country Lines magazine, informing members of the election for the Board of Directors seat this year. It also stated who the nominating committee is and what the qualifications are to serve as a director of the cooperative. The nominating committee accepted suggestions for qualified candidates from any member in the district. By February 4th, the nominations had to be submitted to the office of the cooperative for verification. This year, your interim incumbent director, Teresa Sopsey, was the only nominee. The nomination report was posted in a public place at the cooperative offices so members could see the nomination. Nominations by petition were accepted until February 21st in case someone decided to nominate themselves or a neighbor. There were no nominations by petition. An email went out to the members on April 4th announcing the opening of balloting and providing instructions on the electronic voting format. The nominations and candidates' biographies were also published in the April issue of Country Lines, along with a mail ballot and an envelope addressed to an independent balloting firm. Members were told they could vote by mail before May 2nd. Tonight, we have a sealed envelope with the mail balloting results provided by that independent balloting firm, and I will now announce the election results. Congratulations, Director Sopsey, you are re-elected. Director Sopsey will complete the balance of former Director Corinna Batora's term, which would be another 2 years. She will be officially seated at the Cooperative's annual meeting in August. Thank you to all District 5 members who took part in the democracy of the co-op by casting your vote. The voice that you have in the operation of your co-op is something that really sets HomeWorks apart from other investor-owned utilities. Now I'll turn it back over to our moderator, Angel McClittock.
Thank you, and congratulations, Director Sopsey. And thank you to all of our district officers and all members who voted in our director election and in the business meeting tonight. Now we'll move on to the co-op update portion of our meeting. CEO Chris O'Neill has pre-recorded an informative update for you, and at the conclusion of the briefing, Chris will be back up here live in person to answer your questions. Remember to use the Q&A box at any time to enter any questions that you would like to pose to Chris. Now sit back and enjoy Chris's co-op update.
Hello, HomeWorks members. You just finished up your business meeting, which is one of the main reasons we ask you to attend your district meetings each year. You're not just a customer of HomeWorks Tri-County Electric, you're a member and an owner of the co-op. So it's crucial that you have the opportunity to participate and engage in the democratic process. Another important reason we invite you to your district meetings is to provide you with a look behind the scenes at your co-op's operations and the projects we've undertaken on your behalf over the past year. There's a lot to touch on here, so let's get started. First off, you probably noticed that I'm coming to you today from the truck garage in our Portland office. I'm out here because this is one of the areas that represents the heart of what we do, which is to hit the road running every day to provide you with reliable services that enhance your quality of life. Between our two offices in Portland and Blanchard, we have 106 employees, and I can tell you with no hesitation that every one of them is committed to going above and beyond the call of duty to serve you. Did you know that the electric operations employees who drive these trucks out of this garage every day helped provide you with power that is 99.95% reliable last year? As a member-owner co-op, that doesn't have to answer to investors or meet any arbitrary profit margins. We're able to invest in the type of regular system maintenance and upgrades that prevent outages before they happen. And when storms come in and outages do occur, these trucks hit the road immediately, and our employees work to restore your power safely, quickly, and efficiently. In fact, we recently received our 2023 Michigan Public Service Commission Standards Report, which measures our performance in areas like how quickly we restore your outages, answer your calls, and more. While large electric utilities in our state regularly struggle to meet these standards set forth by the MPSC, I'm proud to say that our 2023 report shows that we far exceeded those standards in every single category measured. So, if you've noticed sometimes that your lights are on when your neighbors who are serviced by other electric providers still might be in the dark, there's a reason for that reliability. It's the investment we've made in our system and the hard work of our skilled employees who are dedicated to providing you with power you can rely on. Now, it's no surprise that the cost of providing you with electric reliability continues to steadily increase. As a not-for-profit co-op, our electric rates are based solely on the cost of providing you service and nothing more. Unfortunately, the cost of day-to-day operations to run your co-op and the pricing for the equipment, materials, and contractors needed to maintain our electric system have risen exponentially over the past couple years. Because of those increased costs, along with sustained volatility in the power supply market, it is likely that we will be asking our board of directors to consider a rate increase at our July board meeting, which, if approved, would take effect in October of this year. Of course, we will inform you of the details of any rate adjustments before it hits your bill, and I assure you that we will work to keep any increase as minimal as possible to adequately cover our cost and support the financial stability of the co-op we all own. My goal as your CEO is to always be transparent with you, so I wanted to let you know what is likely on the horizon. We've provided a detailed financial report on pages 8 and 9 and 12 and 13 of your district meeting booklet, where you'll see that the co-op continues to experience very slow growth with a net of 248 new active meters in 2022. 2022 energy sales were also up very slightly, with a 1% in kilowatt-hour sales over 2021. You're probably aware that part of being a co-op member means that anytime we have operating margins, that money gets allocated back to you, the members, as capital credits based on your share of electricity purchases during the year. That allocation of margins helps to make up the equity in the co-op. You can see your specific allocation amount noted on your May electric bill. So far, we have returned over $24 million in member equity to you and your neighbors. In March, your board voted to delay the consideration of capital credit retirements until the fourth quarter of this year, when they will review the financial status of the co-op and determine if a retirement is viable at that time. As always, we will keep you updated on the status of any capital credit retirement through our Country Lines magazine and direct mail communications. I mentioned earlier the volatility of the power supply market as a factor in your energy costs. Recently, I sat down with Zach Anderson, Chief Operating Officer of our power supplier, Wolverine Power Cooperative, to talk about the reasons behind that volatility, along with several other very important issues affecting power supply and the electric grid reliability. I want to share our conversation with you now. I think you'll find it very informative. Hi, Zach. Thanks for sitting down with me today and being willing to discuss the important issue of power supply. It's an issue that I've spoke with many members on, and they have a lot of concerns about power supply and the state of the current grid. So let's get right to it. Zach, electric reliability is a hot button issue currently, and Wolverine does an incredible job on behalf of Homeworks and all of its members in securing enough electric supply during peak demand for our members. With that being said, can you please explain to our members how we could still be facing electricity shortages and talking about rolling blackouts while we're talking about having enough supply?
Yeah, it's such a fantastic question, and it's an important issue for our members to understand what's going on out there. And so, to be very clear, Wolverine, on behalf of our members as the generation and transmission co-op that supplies you your power supply, we are an exporter. All seasons, spring, fall, winter, summer, we have enough generation, and in fact a little bit more, meaning we export when demand is highest. The blessing and the curse of the grid, though, is we're all in this big pool together. And so if others, as is increasingly the case, do not have enough generation to meet their maximum demand, we all end up having to sacrifice. And the most painful bit of that sacrifice is literally being forced to have the lights go out with what are known as rolling blackouts. The way that we talk about it, and I think is easiest for people to visualize what's going on, is we're being forced to play a really dangerous game of Jenga. And when I say that, I don't mean to say we're playing a game. This is real life and economic risk. So that's why it's a dangerous game of Jenga. But if you think about it and visualize it this way, if you have a solid Jenga tower at the start of the game and all the blocks are in place, that's really, really strong. And that's where our grid has been for its 100+ years in its history. But now we're being systematically forced to go through a transition that has us pulling out key components of those Jenga blocks, and the tower is becoming less and less stable. So as we retire more and more generation and we can't replace it fast enough, and we're not replacing it with the same resources, meaning weather dependent and intermittent resources like renewables, those are trying to come on too quickly as we pull out those Jenga blocks, and we risk that tower becoming more and more unstable. And unfortunately, that has very serious consequences for all of us.
Absolutely. That provides some wonderful clarity, Zach. For our members who are concerned, can you tell them what the process would be if MISO said that we needed to institute rolling blackouts in order to save the grid?
Yeah, unfortunately, this is something that we have to plan for. On the plus side is we do have a plan. And so if we are asked to shed load, everyone's being asked to shed load. They don't pick on just rural cooperatives. It's everybody needs to do their fair share to cut back. And so from a practical standpoint, it's a phone call that comes to our Energy Control Center at Wolverine, and then we implement our plan, and we don't know how long it will last, but what we try to do is spread that pain around for the shortest amount of time possible so that one member or one substation in our world isn't bearing the brunt of that pain and that penalty in that situation.
And that's where the term rolling blackouts comes
You're
from.
rolling them around.
Absolutely. Let's transition to another but similar related topic here. Our members at Homeworks hear a lot about our electric reliability and our investment in electric reliability. We provide them with power that is 99.95% reliable, which I think is outstanding. Can you break down for our members how we can be talking about one kind of superior reliability on one hand, but then warning them about the electric grid and other issues on the other? Can you delineate that for us?
Yeah. And I think of it in three key buckets. So you touched on this, Chris. Homeworks and Wolverine have been doing a lot of investment in our systems. So those are the power lines and the substations that serve our members. And so that's one bit of reliability, system reliability. Sure. And that's really strong, almost 100% reliable. Yeah. The next bit of reliability is generation reliability. This is another area where I'm proud to say that Wolverine is a leader in the region in how reliable the power plants that we own and operate on our members' behalf perform under all scenarios. We are far and away better than anyone else at operating our power plants, and that pays off that when they're needed, they will run to support our members, and that's key. So system reliability, generation reliability are the first two. The third is, as we've been talking about, is grid reliability. So we can do what we need to do on our system, we can do what we need to do from a generation standpoint, but then we have to recognize that we're all connected, and that grid reliability is where the challenge lies, and that's outside of our control. So the thing that we're really focused on is communicating on this message and being practical, that we want to be leaders in renewables. We want to be leaders in providing affordable power supply, but in doing that, everyone else has to be pulling in the same direction so that we provide highly reliable power from a grid reliability standpoint. So you've got system reliability, generation reliability, and then grid reliability, where we're all in it together. And we need to be an advocate for good grid policy.
Very good. Thank you for that. That was a very detailed explanation on a fairly complex issue, so I appreciate that. Next question here, Zach. Wolverine is a state leader in renewable power, and yet, as we've been talking about, we know we need to advocate for a responsible energy transition to renewables, sort of balancing both cost and reliability metrics along the way. What do you see as the role for renewables being now, and maybe what the role changes to in the future?
Yeah, so as leaders in renewables, we were the first utility in the state to have a commercial scale wind farm. Co-ops were amongst the first to have community solar programs. We have been leaders in renewables and receive almost 20% of our total energy needs are met by renewables today. And we have an additional 40% of our portfolio that is carbon free. So 60% of the energy supply that we get today is carbon free. And we believe in it, and our members believe in it, and they support it,
Absolutely.
Even if it costs a little bit more. It's been something that we're proud to be leaders in, and we'll continue to lead into the future in adding more and more renewables to our long-term power supply mix. But we have to also recognize we need to do that while being responsible and keeping the lights on 24/7, 365, because if we don't, it has real economic, and unfortunately, it can be life-threatening for cold weather events like we have in Michigan. It can be so cold that it can be deadly for people. And so we take these things very seriously, thinking long-term to be as decarbonized as possible while keeping the lights on 24/7, 365.
And that's an incredible balance that you do strike. And so, Zach, thank you for sitting down with us today. You provided some great information to our members on power supply, an issue that I know really resonates with them, especially currently when costs are going up. And there's a lot in the news about power supply and potential rolling blackouts. So one thing I will say is we definitely appreciate everything that Wolverine does on behalf of our members, especially to provide them with safe, reliable, and affordable power supply. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
There are a lot of complex issues there, and I appreciate Zach sitting with me to break them down for you from a power supply perspective. One thing Zach mentioned quite a bit was carbon-free and renewable energy. You might not know that we offer a great renewable energy program for our members with 3 different levels of participation. We also offer a robust energy optimization program to help you save money by integrating beneficial electrification and energy efficiency measures at your home. Last year, the program helped our members to save over $107,000 and over 832,000 kilowatt hours. I encourage you to take a minute to check out our EO page at homeworks.org/EO to learn more about our rebates and incentives. Next up, let's move into some very exciting news on our Homeworks Connect fiber internet project. I'm thrilled to report that just this month, we've completed our fiber network build-out to our entire membership. That's over 2,100 miles of fiber line built over the past 5 years as part of this $94 million investment in delivering reliable, high-speed internet across our rural mid-Michigan footprint. You might remember that it was May of 2018 when we officially undertook this project and made the commitment to our board to complete our mainline construction within 5 years. I could not be more proud of the fact that despite the unprecedented challenges of the pandemic and other obstacles along the way, we have met that commitment. We are still finishing up our fiber splicing in parts of our northern service territory, so our fiber service is not available to every single member home just yet. But we are very close to reaching everyone. To celebrate this momentous completion of our network construction and everything this project means for our cooperative, our members, and the communities we serve, we put together a quick video on the project that I think you'll enjoy.
Everybody here has been affected by this fiber build. And the difference between this and all the other business ventures I've been involved in is it actually involved the entire organization. For bringing broadband out into the rural areas, it brings that same passion back to the organization. You see people being re-energized because we're doing something that's everybody wants.
We first talked about it at the district meetings, and the membership was in favor of us going out and borrowing the money and doing the broadband business. At that point there, we had taken information from the senior management that had done the investigations on what it would take and how much money we would have to borrow and what type of timeline we would have. And that's where it started just about 5 years ago.
Who would have thought that in 2018, when we started this, considering a 5-year journey to build out fiber to all of our customers, that we would have COVID. We still managed to catch back up again, and we're actually going to finish the project, well, by the way I look at it, about 4 months early.
Those were quite trying times, but we just kept persevering. Everybody on the staff, everybody in the building, all of our employees and stuff just have worked their butt off to get this thing done. We all know as board members who did the work, and that was the employees here at HomeWorks.
I feel really proud to be a part of the fiber team because it is such an exciting, seemingly life-changing service that we offer. So it is great to know that I'm a part of something bigger than myself.
People don't realize how much of business takes place over the internet today, how important it is for business to have a high-speed internet.
You know what, as a business owner, having fiber internet, it takes away a lot of the uncertainty. We would have a lot of problems losing our phones. We would have a lot of problem losing credit card authorizations. When you have unreliable internet, it affects everything from day-to-day operations.
The members are very appreciative of the service. Many of them say it's the best service that they've ever had. Super easy to get in contact with someone at the office, where a lot of other companies, you get someone from a different country, like we're in your backyard.
I work for companies that are all around the world. You know, these are software companies that have offices everywhere. When I am in a Teams meeting or something online, they always ask me about my internet because it just never drops. It just seems so crisp. And I said, you know what? I live in the middle of nowhere and I have the fastest internet in any place in the world that I've ever lived. Nothing has been as fast as the internet that I have in Portland, Michigan.
Anybody that has the possibility of using our broadband should really do it, because I've been in business for 40 years myself, and this is a very well-run company that runs almost like a family business where people really care about our members. I believe they will go beyond what is called from them to do the job.
That gives you chills. The project has made our electric system more reliable than ever, provided economic growth opportunities for the co-op that will benefit every member, and delivered life-changing broadband access to our rural service territory. Over 9,000 HomeWorks members and counting are subscribed to HomeWorks Connect, and we continue to hear very positive feedback about the unmatched speeds and reliability. And now, with the completion of our build-out to our membership, we're beginning to embrace the opportunity to expand our network to neighboring non-member areas as well. For example, you might have seen our recent announcement about our exciting partnership with the City of Portland to bring our fiber internet service to city residents and businesses. Partnerships like this one help us to continue our mission to improve the quality of life in our local communities with reliable broadband access, while also providing economic benefits to our co-op and our entire membership. So we're excited to pursue these new opportunities. If you're not a HomeWorks Connect customer yet, and you're looking to upgrade your home internet or phone service, please give our fiber team a call or visit join.homeworksconnect.org. We'd love to connect with you. Moving on, another great service we offer at your co-op is Tri-County Propane. For over 24 years, our crews have done an exceptional job of delivering great value to customers in our area with highly dependable propane at competitive prices, even in the midst of a very volatile fuel market of late. This year, our propane team has worked very hard to integrate a new software that is improving our delivery efficiencies and helping us provide even better service to our customers in the field. In the office, too, our experienced and highly trained propane customer service team continues to work to provide an incredible level of service beyond compare. With great options like 24-hour service, a budget plan, autofill and metered service, and outstanding reliability, I'm very proud of the exceptional service Tri-County Propane continues to deliver each year. So that was a quick look at the past year for your co-op. As you can see, we've been busy. And it's been another productive year of exciting growth, change, and opportunity. Our employees work very hard every day to make you their priority. And throughout the rest of this year and beyond, I can promise you that we will always maintain that commitment to you and providing you with safe, reliable, and affordable utility services that enhance your quality of life.
Thank you, Chris, for providing that great update. Now Chris is back here live to answer some of your questions before wrapping up with the most exciting part of the night, our prize giveaways. If you have a question that you would like our CEO to address tonight, please type it in using the Q&A button. We received a few questions from attendees prior to tonight's meeting during the registration process, so Chris will answer those now.
Thanks, Angel. Two questions that we received during pre-registration. The first one says, what is the status of home solar electric units in the current system? And so we interpreted this to mean how many solar arrays that are on the member side do we have interconnected with our existing electric distribution system. And so total, we have 171 different solar installations that at our members' locations that are interconnected using one of our 3 solar options to our electric distribution system. We also have, as one of those options, 78 community solar subscribers, meaning they've purchased a panel from the cooperative a member has and not installed it at their location, and they get the energy credited on their bill each month for the production of that solar panel. The next question is, will in-person meetings return? And so at this point in time, in the last 2 surveys we've conducted on this particular issue for these meetings, for district meetings, over 80% of the respondents have preferred the virtual format. Until that changes, we probably won't pivot from virtual district meetings. However, we have offered 2 different additional in-person meetings in order to try and engage in person with our membership. One is our park parties that are coming up over the summer, and we touched on those a little bit earlier. And the next one is our annual meeting, which is August 19th, and we touched on that. That will be in Mount Pleasant, and those will both be in person, and we look forward to a good turnout to both. Charlie, any other questions? It looks like there's no other questions. Thank you so much for the questions that were submitted. If I didn't get to something tonight, please know that we've noted it and we'll contact you directly. To conclude, let me say thank you for your attendance at tonight's virtual district meeting. I'll now turn it over to Angel McCliggett and Michelle Hoon for the prize giveaways. Thank you and have a great night.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everyone, for those pre-submitted questions. All right, let's give away some prizes.
All right, let's do this. We did pre-select these from the people that were signed in this evening. So we do have a list of prizes with the names that are right here. So good luck to everyone. The first item that we're going to give away this evening is a Shark robot vacuum, and it's a vacuum and a mop.
Oh, it's a mop too?
It's a mop too,
Awesome,
so
I
even
didn't
better.
realize that.
Yes. And the lucky winner for our vacuum mop is the Diana Luckhard. Congratulations, Diana. The next item we're going to draw for this evening, or did draw for this evening, is a smart clock with a charging station. The winner of that prize is for Gary Skurba.
Yes.
I hope I got that right. Sorry if I didn't. And then the next one we're going to give away this evening is an Arctic 30 can cooler. The winner of that one is for Ben Thiel. Hopefully I said that right.
I'll do the next one because it's an easy one.
Okay, go ahead.
Samsung earbuds, Joe Mullaney. What is that?
Bose.
Bose, I'm just joking. Bose wireless speaker goes to Walter Wager. And a Ring doorbell goes to Matt Gov.
All right. We also try to give away gift cards from our local community. And so the first one that we have this evening is a $50 gift card to Dewey's Trading Post in Maple Rapids. The winner of that is for Christopher Briggs.
I've never heard of that place.
Oh, I heard it's really good. One of the guys told me that.
Oh, cool.
We also have a $50 gift card for Uncle John's Cider Mill in St. John's.
Everybody's
I know
heard of
you've
that
heard of that. The winner for that is Valerie Sposta. Sorry if that's not quite right.
It's cool.
You want to do these ones?
And we have two $100 Meijer gift cards tonight. The first one goes to Adam Tipton, and the next one, Andrea Clark.
In addition to that, we also have some $50 Meijer gift cards. We're going to give away two of those. The first one is for Brittany LaRue and Carl Murray.
And then we have a $100 gas gift card, goes to Hazel Hall.
And then two $50 gas gift cards for Maggie Schultz and Sarah Clapp.
And then we have four $50 Homeworks bill credits, Kaylee Rhea, Clarence Linton, Alice Churchill, and Stanley Saylor.
And then last but not least, we have some $25 Homeworks bill credits. That's for Rochelle Winnis, Susan Menzel, Robert Rhinesmith, Joshua Hart, and William L.
And these names tonight seem harder than some other nights we've had. I'm sorry about that, everyone.
So that's it for our prizes this evening. Thank you so much for attending, and we hope you enjoyed your district meeting. If you want a bill credit this evening, it will be placed on your account in the coming days. If you want a gift card, we will drop it in the mail to you. And if you want another prize, we'll be giving you a call to make plans to get that set up. If you got a bingo this evening, make sure you turn your card in to us by May 20th to be entered in for great prizes.
I think it's May 29th.
I think you're right. May 29th.
Thank you all, and have a great night.
Have a good night.